Hey guys, sorry for the super close-up. Due to a technical difficulty in the form of a pizza delivery guy and my dogs, I'm having to start over. So I just want to recap really quick. Contrary to probably every instinct you've ever had about dough, turning out dough, instead of flouring your countertop, you actually want to put some water down. Not a lot, just a little bit, just to wet the surface. I have been working on my island, but that is wood plank and it's a painted finish. So when I scrape, I don't want to get any of that finish in my dough, obviously. These countertops are laminate, which actually works really well. It's a nice smooth surface. So what I did, I wet the countertop, I wet my dough scraper, and I scraped my dough out of the bowl onto the counter. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my bench scraper, this metal one, and wet my hand. That's what this looks like. And I'm just going to divide this into my two loaves, and I'll set one to the side. Now it's really sticky, and that might freak you out in the beginning, but don't let it, because this is exactly what you're looking for. What you're going to do is you're going to put your scraper, let's see if I can get the right angle, at about that angle to the countertop. And you're just going to push and turn. And I'm hoping you can see this. You're just going to keep pushing and turning. My fingers are just a little bit wet so they don't stick to the dough. And as I do this and the countertop kind of dries out a little bit and it's grabbing the dough, it's actually creating some tension on the skin of that dough. So each time I do it, I'm actually continuing to build up some gluten. I'm adding some tension to that skin, and I'm pre-shaping all at the same time. And as I'm doing this, I'm seeing some small bubbles from our fermentation. So I'll keep doing that until I've got kind of a nice shape. It is a slacker dough because of the 80% hydration, but I've got some pretty decent shape there. It will lay out a little bit because it is a really hydrated dough. But if I just keep kind of going, what I kind of want to do, I'm actually purposely kind of moving to the right. See that little fermentation bubble there? That's awesome. I'm purposely moving to the right a little bit so that I have room to do my next dough and then do my next loaf and then turn out the other dough, because I want to let all four bench rest at the same time. So I think that's good. And I'm going to go ahead and start on this one, which you can see the difference. And I didn't wet my blade again. So wet my blade and my fingers. And just start doing the same thing. And you can kind of just manipulate it where you want it to be. So it's about a 30-degree angle off the countertop. It's a quick push and turn. And with this, I've heard the dough senses fear. So you just have to be confident. So we're getting a nice tense skin on that, and that's going to really help it to hold its shape. I'm actually even more happy with this one than the first one, but I'm just gently moving it over, probably because the countertop was a little bit more dry. When you go in, you always want to wet that scraper when you first go in. But I'll just go at this one a couple more times. All right, so now what I'm going to do, you'll get to see me dump this second dough, which in this case is the one time where I've actually done it out of order, because the rye was the one that we got that beautiful, beautiful window pane on. So I did that one first, and now I'm doing the 150 gram pumpernickel. So I do the same thing, take my flexible bench scraper, my bowl scraper, and I'm going to scrape this one out onto the countertop. And this one is good and sticky. All right. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure my bench scraper and my fingers are wet. I'm going to divide this into 2 loaves. We'll set that one off to the side, and we'll begin working this one. Now once you do this pre-shape, you're actually going to let these, what they call bench rest, for about 30 minutes. And then from there, we'll do our final shaping and put it into our bannetons. Now, what I was thinking I would do, if you haven't baked sourdough before, or you don't bake sourdough, you may not have bannetons, and I'll show you what those look like. And I'll do a couple of these loaves in what I call a makeshift banneton. And that's just a way that you can, do you know what? My doughs are a little unequal. That's just a way, that's something that you can rig up. I'm not gonna get any tension with that on the top. Okay, here we go. That's something you can rig up in place of a banneton that you can proof your bread in, or your dough, I guess, so that you don't have to run out and buy equipment unless you're certain this is something that you're going to enjoy and want to do on a regular basis. The bannetons definitely are ideal. They're the best option, but there is a way you can kind of rig it up if you don't have one. And I went in there with a dry bench scraper and got stuck. Okay, so you can see how this first one has kind of flattened out a little bit. It's going to do that because of the high hydration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let these bench rest. We'll come back in about 30 minutes and do our pre-shaping. Thanks, guys.